Yo, what's going on, you guys? Your boy Pwny Montana. In this video, we're going to be going over the 4-3-6-1 defensive meta and how to counteract that meta. Now, there are two ways that you guys are going to be able to pretty much dominate this meta. And one of the ways is by escape artist. But if you guys seen in a previous video, I showed how to pretty much beat any blitzing defense with escape artist. You could just outrun it every single time. You can outrun anybody who's blitzing heavy, and that's what this defense is centered around. It's centered around blitzing heavy. So if someone is blitzing you as heavy as they are in 4-3-6-1 even, this is going to be a helpful video for you guys. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. You guys already know the whole deal. Like the video, please. Please. I ain't begging, but I ain't too proud to. But yeah, the 3-1-6-1, no one typically runs man coverage out of this meta. They typically just run zones. Typically they run a cover 2, and they run a cover 2 with deeper blues, which means what exactly? It means that you're gonna be able to throw to the sidelines non-stop. One thing that a good formation or good formations that you guys are gonna be able to use to dominate these are simply spread formations. Anything that has anything where the user has to pick and choose, because that's essentially what you're doing with this formation or with the offense, is you're making them pick and choose which side they want to guard. So a good way to do that is coming out in something like spread and simply just having in routes all over the field. Why? Because they're gonna be forced to pick which in route to actually choose. Now, that time I actually didn't blitz, and it's gonna be hard to showcase, but you're just trying to confuse the user. So let me call timeout real quick, because I do have to put the defense on base align for it to actually look like I'm running the actual play. We're gonna come out in Tampa 2. And something as simple as buck slants is gonna be enough to beat this meta. That's how, because it's an easy meta to beat. It's just difficult when you got somebody who is blitzing as heavy as they do. So right now I'm just trying to okay, you know what, let me call timeout one more time so that the defense doesn't get set like that. Tampa 2, and we're just gonna call buck slant. And I'll tell you the reason why in a second. Because the reason why we're calling buck slant is because having routes that go towards the flat are gonna help you guys out. And then having routes that are going towards the middle are gonna help you guys out. That's literally all you need for a meta like this. That's all you need. You're sitting there getting blitzed by 6 people, and let's put this guy on X, because one of the things that you guys can also do, and I keep doing that, and I probably shouldn't, but one of the things that people would like to do in this specific defense is put their outside guys in squats, which means that their outside guys are gonna end up trying to guard your receiver. That, like, they're initially gonna match up to the receiver that you guys are using. So these guys are gonna go in squats typically, and these guys are gonna go in up. How do you put them in a squat? Boom, left stick, cool. So these guys typically go in quarters, while these guys are in squats that are up to 15 to 20 yards, because they're expecting the pressure to get in very, very quickly, which means that their user, this guy here, has to pick and choose which side of the field he wants to guard, and they have to hover around that very, very, very fast. So something you guys can do is simply have a quick route that's going towards the flat, so it takes anything towards the flat down, and then have a quick route that's going towards the middle. So slants are a perfect offense, and I know it sounds it's such a bot thing to say that slants are going to work against this, but slants work amazing against something like this, especially if you're sitting in the pocket and passing. Now, if you guys are running around with your quarterback, that's a completely different situation. But in this situation here, all you simply have to do is run something as simple as slants. Why? Because there aren't linebackers, there aren't linemen in the game that have good enough zone, good enough change of direction, good enough anything to stick with any receiver in the game. So any strategy that you guys have where they're sending a ton of people and their initial job is to sit there and pick and choose which person, this is going to work the best for you. And I'm going to show the replay as to why. There's so many different combinations that you guys can run against this 4-3 wide meta, but a lot of the times this is going to be one that helps you out a ton. You can quickly hit the flats, as you can see here, and that's going to gain you a few yards. But as soon as they start reacting towards the flat, you're going to be able to hit one of these interior routes even quicker. There's no way that any user in Madden, it doesn't matter if they have two safeties out there, it doesn't matter what the situation is, there's no way that they're going to be able to guard both of these routes immediately before you get the ball out, because they're too separated. They're too separated of routes for them to actually be able to user either one of them. So this is a perfect example. Now I'm going to hop into a different formation just so we can get another example of something good that you guys can run out of this, against this 4-3-6-1 meta. Now let's just let's hop into, I guess bunch would be okay, but again, it's something that is not gonna. All right, let's just hop into Trey. Trey's a decent formation. It has a vertical route, verticals wide drag, and this is another thing. The main play in this 4-6-1 even, the main play is cover 2. So how do you destroy a cover 2? Simply just dot him towards the end of the sidelines. If you know that it's cover 2 and you're quick enough on your reads, this is something that you guys can do as well. Just come out in verticals and go absolutely crazy with your defense. Now that time I actually didn't send anybody, but as you can see, I've dropped the video on it before where cover 2 absolutely gets torched by verticals, and I also didn't blitz anybody, so let's do that real quick. But the defense it's great if you know how to mix up your coverages, but if you don't know how to mix up your coverages, you're going to be able to throw these seam routes easy, seamlessly. You're just going to be able to dot people up. This is a defense that the more you space out the user, the easier it is for you to dominate. Where this defense gets its shine on is when people know how to actually run it and they know how to actually sit there and do different coverages out of it. Because again, somebody can sit there and simply just do that nonstop against you, and you're going to be extremely frustrated when it comes to you playing Madden. There are a lot of different adjustments that you guys can make against this, and easily one of the easier ones is simply just putting a flat out there on the field. I'm blocking everybody, but putting a flat out there out on the field is going to allow something like this to end up wide open. You can always run plays where you're blocking your tight end and your running back, and then that'll give you a little bit of extra time. But again, that will give the user one side of the field to actually go guard. You're not going to be able to sit there and confuse the user if your routes are crossing too easily. Like when I was coming out in spread in a formation like that, the same concept works because of how easy it is to beat this. So now let's hop into something different. Let's hop into doubles. Another easy formation to beat it, and we're coming out in slants. Something as easy as slants. People need to not overthink how good this formation is because they're sending a lot of pressure. All you simply have to do is make sure that the routes are being confused, because these two cornerbacks that are down there on the sidelines, that's going to be the bread and butter for this defense to actually dominate as much as it is. Now I'm just going to put this guy, he's in a hook curl, and we're going to have two flats and then simply you could just hit X and then get some extra yardage. Remember, positive yardage is going to help you guys out tremendously. It's not going to stop you from moving the ball. And again, another beautiful thing that we can run while somebody is running this is quick hiking verticals. Simple. Quick hike, quick pass, quick throw. Now granted, we don't have a throwing velocity ability, but I'm always going to preach that a throwing velocity ability is the best thing in the game, sometimes over gunslinger as well. But again, you can quickly throw these routes and get yards nonstop against this formation. The only time this formation gets hard to play against is when you're playing against somebody who is nonstop putting those guys in coverage, and then the pressure is getting in from that. These guys right here, these linebackers, they are not good enough to actually play and guard any actual routes. And if you guys are playing this on MUT, typically it's these guys that are going out to actually guard something, which means that they're not gonna be too crazy when it comes to actually playing anything. Like, it's just not gonna be that hard. People are looking at the blitz and thinking that that's the end all be all. Please stop. Have all 5 routes out there if you must, but just get a quick read off, and that's all you're gonna have to do to beat this meta defense. Because let's face it, it's one of the it's one of the meta defenses, and it's because it's so easy. As you can see, triangle ends up open. It's a perfect example of how something like this can work. I'm just gonna call PA read, but I'm gonna cancel the play action. And if you have somebody like Brady with fearless, this is just gonna show how many things are open quickly. Triangle's open already. X is open. Like, there's just so many different options that you guys can run. And I think we get so scared of a good blitz that we overlook how many things are open, and then we start trying to bomb it deep over the top. You don't need to bomb formations like this deep over the top. Those short yardage will get you enough yardage to actually go absolutely crazy. And another thing, if you guys have Hot Route Master, a simple combination that absolutely torches this offense, or this defense, I mean, is this combination right here. The combination of a running back going towards the flat, and a tight end or a slot receiver going on a corner route. You lowball the corner, and you'll always get that play off. Trust me, believe in that route, believe in that little concept, because a lot of people that I've played against that are running this cannot stop that simple concept. They cannot stop a simple concept of that flat, this levels sort of concept, this flood pattern. And then you lowballing it at the same time, and you're gonna complete a lot more passes. Now, granted, if you don't lowball and you're just trying to rack animation it, that's fine too. A lot of the times, but a lot of the times you're gonna want to sit there and make sure that you're just catching the ball regardless of what's going on. So again, something like this is something else that can help you guys out. Just having that little hitch pattern and forcing that user to go guard something, because that hitch pattern is going to end up open. Now, we actually didn't we actually didn't blitz the linebackers, but typically that's what's going to happen. These guys right here, these linemen here, they will never end up being in like hook or a third or a mid read or anything like that. They're going to end up in vert hooks, or they're going to end up going towards the outside, because that's typically what people run, because they know for a fact that their guys are not going to be able to be fast enough to actually guard anything, in the middle. They're not going to be able to guard wheel routes and stuff like that. So they're going to do stuff like put them in curl flats, trying their best, their absolute best, to guard something. But again, as you can see, linemen, outside linebackers in this game, they're not going to be good enough to actually stop that. Hopefully this video helps you guys out if you guys are struggling against this 4-3-6-1, and this is going to work against any meta blitzing formation. Like, if people are coming out in wide 9 or anything like that, this is going to help. The hardest people to play are people who get pressure sending 3 to 4 people, and this just isn't it. This is something where you're sending all, or you're sending nothing, and sometimes it's easy, and this is gonna make it easier for you guys if you guys just stop overthinking and stop overlooking certain things, because it's just a good blitz. If this video helped, make sure you guys are dropping a like for your boy. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. As always, 2 fingers, deuces, and peace out, you guys.